When Cat Williams said 2024 was going to be the year of the truth,
is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of it. All lies will be exposed.
he was talking about the natural hair community. Because, girl, I need you to have a seat. The story that I'm about to tell, I can't make this up. And I promise to tell you nothing but the truth. I am here to report on everything that's happened with this black girl curl situation, the no oil and butter situation, the 30-day detox situation. I'm talking about who, what, when, where, how. And we all need to collectively decide, was this the biggest scam that ever happened? This has been a huge, massive drift within the community. And I don't think it's fair for us to kind of sit down and stay quiet and pretend like this whole thing didn't happen. I am doing this because I don't think it's right that people feel like they can just rewrite history as if things were not said, things did not happen, behaviors weren't unhinged, and we all didn't sit down and collectively just watch as this whole thing went up in flames. And the whole conversation around, who said that? Who did that? We never said that. Who told y'all to do wash and goes? Who told us to do wash and goes? Girl, I need you to have a seat because we're about to get started. Roll the intro. Alright, before we dive in, we need to define what a scam is so that we're all on the same page, okay? According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, a scam is defined as a fraudulent or deceptive act or operation. Alright, you need to remember this definition, okay? Because this is what we're going to use at the end of this whole video series and decide if this whole ordeal was a scam. And I say the video series because we have so much to talk about, I couldn't fit it in just one video. This is a very long story. And as I was working on this, putting all the pieces together, the story is still ongoing. I'm talking about apologies being dropped right and left, people talking about they're closing down their businesses. Now, this is going to be a 6-part series. At least that's how much I have ongoing right now. I hope it's not going to be any longer than that. The first part is the one that you're watching right now, which is going to be a whole overview of the whole situation. Second part is actually going to be my story, as well as everything that happened to my hair from start to finish. And this video is so overdue. Honestly, I should have done that periodically as I was going through everything. But girl, I got pregnant. I got babies. I figured this whole thing was just gonna die out. Boy, was I wrong. Third part is going to be called Surviving Black Girl Curls, and it's going to highlight some of the victims. And then in the fourth video, we'll dive into the stylists because we need to check on them. You need to check on your favorite stylist because, girl, it is hard out here right now for stylists. It is not a good time to be a stylist, specifically a It Kinky stylist. Whew. The fifth video is actually a reaction video that I had filmed like a couple of months ago, and I had planned on dropping it, except I decided to just work on this whole series. And then the last part is, where do we go from here? So buckle up because this ride is about to get crazy. So this story started around 2011, but I want you to start paying attention at around 2016. These two stylists seems to pop out of nowhere. Their names? Well, I'm glad you asked. Aisha Strickland and Elise Olarvia. Elise is a virtual artist turned cosmetologist, guiding women to freedom and delight with their hair through precision cuts and bespoke color. Her people are fearless artists, lawyers, doctors, professors, and entrepreneurs who feel free to rock their natural hair their way. I find it odd that she felt the need to emphasize or highlight that her people are artists, lawyers, doctors, professors, and entrepreneurs. Do people that work regular 9 to 5 not deserving of bomb-ass cuts and fly hair too? I don't know. I don't want to assume nothing, but it's just the way that it was said. Now, Aisha is a beauty blogger turned licensed cosmetologist. Going natural in 2011 led her to the same place that leads most naturals, the internet. It was the quest for accurate information that eventually led her to enrolling in cosmetology school in the fall of 2015. Her editorial styling and artistic director work has been featured in the creative campaigns and platforms artistry for some of your favorite curly and natural hair brands like Curl Mix, For You by Tia, and Innocence Organic Beauty. Innocence? That sounds familiar. I wonder why that rings a bell. So basically back in 2015, Aisha was working as a beauty blogger, contributing articles to blackdoctor.org. And during her visit to Chicago, she met Elise. She was already working as a busy stylist with natural hair clients. And while writing an article, which was entitled 10 Things Hairstylists Want You to Stop Doing Right Now, Aisha asked Elise for help. Elise agreed, but little did they know they were about to shake the internet. The article actually went viral overnight, largely due to Elise's blunt remark: "Stop with all the coconut oil and shea butter." Clutch my pearls! The backlash was fierce. Critics hurled insults at them and even accused them of being out of touch white women behind a computer screen. That's interesting. The irony. So they ended up publishing a follow-up piece challenging Black women to stop using shea butter, coconut oil, castor oil, and eco-styler for 30 days. And that, my friend, is how the 30-day detox challenge came to life and how Black Girl Curls got its name. Now, I couldn't find the original article, but to be fair, I didn't look that hard. The link on their website went nowhere. But the follow-up article, which was called 7 Reasons to Stop Using Coconut Oil and Shea Butter in Your Hair. Basically, they said that coconut oil and shea butter is too heavy, led to dryness, caused frizz, does not moisturize your hair. They said we use way too much, they are not water soluble, and cause buildup. That's not a lie. We were using a little too much, some of us at least. And I think a lot of us was operating from a place of having a lot of buildup in our hair. You know, let's be honest. I remember this one time I used oils in my hair, girl, and it literally was dripping in the back of my neck. There was no reason for me to use that much oil in my hair, all over my pillows. It was a lot. But what is this 30-day detox? Well, I'm glad you asked. The information that I'm going to provide came straight from the camel's mouth, okay? I don't know if that's a thing, but it's a thing now. I went to the source for this video because I wanted to provide as much information as possible in terms of how this method was sold to us, the documentation and the workbooks and the ebooks that came out around this method, and for us to fast forward now saying, we never said that, they never said that. Which workbook edition did you have? 2021? Nah, girl, we don't talk about those times.
I don't make up stuff. I don't make up stuff. I don't lie.
I don't want to go back and forth with anyone in the comment section talking about, they never said that. Well, girl, they said a lot. Not all of us can be hard of hearing. I know we're getting a little old, but let's calm down. Actually, so much was said that a lot of the videos, the early videos, were deleted. Now, why would you need to delete a whole library of videos? Why would you need to do that? It's very interesting, you know? Like me as a content creator, videos that I published in 2011 are still up. What is going on? Why would you need to delete so many of your videos? I'm just wondering. So let's go over the 30-day detox, shall we? The series of emails I'm going to show you came from Elise and Aisha themselves. That was back in 2021 when I was educating myself on this whole thing because I was about to start the 30-day detox. I was about to do this whole method and I wanted to do it right. A lot of people told me, you know, little information here, Jen, just use a gel on your hair. And I was like, oh, you know what? Gel on my 4C hair don't sound like something I should do. So let me go to the source to make sure that I'm doing this right. Now, their mission was simple, and it was to make natural hair great again. The goal was healthy, hydrated, natural hair that you can achieve with the wash hour. I need you to remember that, okay? The wash hour was a term that they used to market this whole thing towards us. Imagine healthy, hydrated hair that you can do in an hour. All of the pain points that we've had as a community, they hit all of them right in the jugular. Hydration was the goal. A bomb-ass style was the goal. Girl, the way that you did this was to cleanse, condition, and style your hair as often as possible. We're challenging you to go 30 days without raw shea butter, raw coconut oil, and raw castor oil. Eco styler and products that includes them in the top 5 ingredients. That was a very important term too, because that was basically how they would tell you to not use any of the products that you had at home if it had oils specifically shea butter, coconut oil, castor oil, all of these fake products. If you have them up high in the ingredient list, don't use it. And they had us reading ingredient lists like we were scientists. There were crazy times, okay? In their defense, they did say this. Let us make it clear that we don't hate oils and butters. To the contrary, there are many dope products that are impeccably formulated with these ingredients in them, even in the top 5. We know because we use them in the salon regularly. The reason why we're asking you to eliminate them from your hair diet for 30 days is because our minds and our hair likely need a reset from some common natural hair practices that we've picked up over our journey. We want you to experience your hair in its rawest, purest, most bare state. That, I can tell you, was achieved. No, well, Jennifer, let's not skip ahead. Give the people the information. Let them decide. Why? So many of us have never seen or felt our hair for real. Everything we have learned about natural hair has made it seem like if we don't slaughter it with all the things, it will shrivel up and fall to the floor. The 30-day hair detox is a reset of your experience and relationship with your hair. The main reason why they felt like we needed a detox is because raw ingredients are not meant to be used in the hair alone. Cleansing and conditioning are the cornerstones of healthy, hydrated hair and scalp. Oils and butters are not moisture. Oils and butters are not styling products. We need to have a baseline measurement of how our hair looks, feels, behaves in its rawest form so that we can gauge the efficacy of our routine and products. That sounds fair, right? They told us to put our onions away, stop putting avocados in our hair, wash our hair fully, wash and condition your hair every 5 to 10 days. And they actually specifically mention here, we don't advocate you go longer than 10 to 14 days, but we understand that things happen. I mean, so far so good. The messaging was clear. I am telling you, as someone who lived through these times, I'm talking about 2019 to 2021, especially 2021 when I started paying attention, it was clear. Wash, condition, and style your hair on a regular basis. And you know how we are, okay? If you tell us to wash and condition our hair, we're gonna tell you, what do you use? What product should we use? Which product are you using? That's the #1 question I still get. I don't even make natural hair videos like that. People are still like, what are your favorite products? What are you using? We love products. So of course, they had a mini list. Perfect, convenient. Tell me what to do. It does say the challenge is not about products. Products are tools. Our goal is for you to understand why, when, and how to employ these tools to achieve your desired outcome. We understand that many of you don't have products that align with this challenge just laying around your bathrooms. So we gathered up the shortest list of products we could come up with to give you alternatives. These are tried and true products that we have used in the salon and in our daily lives for years with great success. This is word per word, y'all. They kept the list as short as possible, you know, This is the list. Cleansers. Kinky Curly Come Clean, which is a clarifying shampoo. It is indicated here. Use as needed to remove buildup. AG Natural Balance. I need you to remember that. Trelax Curl Renew and Restore Shampoo. That's it for the shampoo list. The conditioner list. AG Natural Boost, Innocence Organic Beauty Color Radiance Conditioner. And for stylers, we have the Uncle Funky's Daughter, as well as the Do Most Def. If you're new to the 30-day hair challenge or Black Girl Curls, it's best to use these stylers alone for each respective style during the 30 days. We will be getting more in depth about product use in our upcoming course, See Some Curls, and the revised version of Wash Your Damn Hair. So the promise was simple. After this challenge, you would have healthier, hydrated hair that you can do in an hour or less. This is the basis of the whole no oil and butter movement, aka the 30-day detox. It was about a streamlined process. Natural hair is not trial and error, and it was told over and over and over. Imagine that. Simple natural hair care. Hair that you can do quickly in an hour or less. A bomb style that you can wear. The fine curls that you've never seen. Forget the do-it-yourself concoctions. Sign me up.
Naturals love to be like, do what works for you. What the does that even mean?
And if it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. And I know what you're thinking. Well, it doesn't say to keep doing the detox forever. It's actually called 30-day detox. Now there's this one clip I was looking for. Girl, I looked everywhere because I remember it specifically so vividly in my mind, where I believe it was Elise, and she said, once you're done the 30-day detox, you can go back to doing whatever you were doing if you don't like it. However, their hope is that you would love it so much that you would continue. I couldn't find the clip. I mean, so many videos have been deleted, and also I'm blocked. Oh, I didn't tell you that, girl. Oh my God, there's so much to tell. But I found the next best thing. This is what the resources said. But anybody who was living in the great time of 2021 will tell you that there was no instructions as to what you should do after the 30 days, and no change to your routine, no change to the products, and people that were partnered with stylists. Okay, because that was one of the big things too. You need to be partnered with a stylist. You need to be partnered with a stylist. This is one of those methods that in the back of my mind, I was like, damn, if it's that complicated to do, how sustainable is it? But if you're partnered with a stylist, guess what? They still told you to use the same products and continue the same routine. Wash, condition, and style. And the products of choice, the main hitters, the products that was all over the internet was AG Balance, AG Boost, Uncle Funky's Daughter, as well as Innocence I Create Hold, or if you wanted to use a mousse, it would have been Most Def. Those were the products. So much so, Uncle Funky's Daughter changed the formula of the gel, and we were still rocking with Uncle Funky's Daughter. Now there was jojoba in the top 5 ingredient, and we're all confused, like, oh no, do not put oils in your hair. It was one of those, like, if you did not do as they told you to do, your hair was going to disappear overnight. So we're all concerned, like, what do you mean? We can't use oils in the top 5 ingredient, but Uncle Funky's Daughter has oils in it and the formula changed and there's like protein in it. Like, what should we do? We're glitching. We're like, what's going on? You told us to use this product. And Elise came out and was like, have no fear, my minions. It's okay to use Uncle Funky's Daughter. Now, this is what their ebook said. And mind you, I have the 2019 version and I also have the 2021 version. And since they gave away their resources for free recently, I know it's a lot. I don't even know if we're going to get to that level of detail. But after they apologized, they gave away a lot of the resources. And we'll get to the apology in a second. But I compared a lot of the resources because I needed to know. Because I'm like, you know what? It's not just in my head. Like, am I crazy? Do I not remember? Am I getting old? But as it turns out, their resources said your first 30 days may be your last 30 days of hair care. Or they may be completely life-changing. All we can say is give us 30 days. At the end of 30 days, if you love the results, stick with the routine you've developed for yourself and the products you've chosen, okay? The ebook also emphasized the fact that product selection is not trial and error. This is what it says. First of all, who started this lie? In all of the social media forums we visited, there are hundreds of comments that state that you've got to keep experimenting till you find the products that works for you. Now, that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. Interesting to say the least, given where we are now. That did not age very well.
There were 5 recommendations on the list. There were 5. And some people decided, like, oh, I see you use, I don't know what reason, but people chose to use what they used. I have clients, I'm like, we can't do a wash and go. Because nobody said you had to wear a wash and go either. Everybody was wearing a wash and go. That was a choice. But nobody had to wear a wash and go. But who told them to use that shampoo? A lot of times they're stylists. Okay, and that comes down to the stylist that people worked with. Everything up to this point was a choice. We don't all take and execute the way we were taught. We don't. That's where I'm at now. What I'm doing now is like paying attention to what's happening on the market because, again, the market has bought us so many new products that now I have to reassess how we're using the things that we're using. Do I still like or use this one thing? How is that making my client's hair behave? How does it make my own hair behave? Nobody likes when I say this, but we all experienced the pandemic. And part of what happened in the pandemic is that a lot of people experienced a lot of stress. There was a lot of hair neglect that happened during the pandemic period. I'm going to say about 4 years in between not getting regular haircuts. That also had an impact on hair. The stress that we experience in our body is stress that ends up in our hair strands. that really did happen. And anybody who had corona definitely experienced some hair loss. I'm also using more emollients too. One of the things we have to take in consideration that all of this stuff is new to us. We're all going through a learning phase. That hair is gone. What are we doing now? What are we doing with the hair we have right now? And if what you're doing is better, make an ebook about it. Surviving Black Girl Curls. Make your ebook. Because they don't bring us any scientific studies. They just bring us products. And we are literally the tests. We're the rats. We're the lab rats for these products.
Listen, I'm all for a good experiment, but Black Girl Coils and It Kinky position themselves and their approach as being grounded in science, and they've been using it in the salon for years with amazing results. Now we get it, they're not cosmetic chemists, but hearing Aisha say this year really posed the question. How long have they been doing this? Is it true that they've never seen some of the damages that we're going to discuss a little later in this video? And did their method have any scientific backing at all? So this is what we were instructed to do, and this is a step-by-step that was highlighted in See Some Curls, which I was a part of. When I started this, I'm telling you, I wanted to go straight to the source because I did not want to ruin my natural hair. And I was in See Some Curls until I learned the method, so about 2-3 months, and I was like, you know what, I got this. And anybody who was in See Some Curls in 2021 can tell you that there was a bunch of videos around the wash and goes. There was Aisha in her bathroom, and I was like, that looks awfully familiar. I feel like I'm watching an influencer here. But she was in her washroom teaching us step by step how to do the wash and go. And I still remember her just like ripping the products through her hair. And she was like, yeah, it's gonna be sticky, but it's fine. As it turns out, that's not good. That is not what you want. You don't want sticky hair, girl. Anyway, so when I wanted to be part of this journey and I wanted healthy, hydrated, not so much defined curls, that's not what I was looking for. And matter of fact, at the very beginning of this, I said that it felt like we were chasing curls. Oh my God, people went off on me. They were like,
that's not true. We're not chasing curls. We just want to see what the hair can do. Why can I wear my hair in its curly state and defined state?
Well, we all found out. But anyway, you were instructed to cleanse your hair real good with shampoo, okay? And the recommendation was AG Balance. You were to condition your hair with AG Boost. And like I said, Uncle Funky's and I Create Hope. And mind you, we weren't even checking for these products like that. Like, have you heard of AG Balance before this whole thing? Not AG Balance, like AG as a company. I think the name of the company is actually AG Care. Y'all heard of AG Care before Black Girl Curls? Innocence? We also were to use the Felicia Leatherwood detangling brush to detangle our hair with conditioner in it. And that was it. Wash, condition, and style. I'm spending a lot of time here because I really want you to understand where this whole thing started and how it started. I don't think it's fair that we're just changing narratives and pretending like 2023 and anything prior just didn't happen. And that's the reason why I think a lot of women are frustrated with this, because of it all. How they would talk to us, how they instructed us to do this. And imagine spending thousands of dollars and not getting hydrated, defined curls. Let's get going. And as much as the documentation says, don't worry so much about the products, it's really not about products, it's about you learning your hair. Yes, there was that aspect, and we did learn a lot of the different elements of our hair. In fact, when we look at the documents here, there is a lot of resources around the structural element of our hair. I'm talking about texture, surface texture, density, porosity, elasticity, curl diameter, hydration level, climate, lifestyle, water quality. Like, they went pretty deep in terms of just everything that we needed to know, or at least learn, so that we really met our hair for the first time. Especially imagine if you were just covering it up for a long time or slathering a lot of products on it. You stripped everything to the bare minimum, maybe a little too bare, maybe stripped a little too much, but you were able to finally meet your hair for what it was. Now, I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's right, because now that everything's in the water, I question the validity of a lot of the resources. If half of the things that you said were supposed to happen didn't happen, I don't think it's unfair for me to question the whole thing now. I mean, I feel like they got us good. And also, I want to point out that if you were in See Some Curls, there were multiple instructors and curl artists or tight curl specialists or whatever their names were that were there to literally guide you. You would post pictures of your hair and people will tell you how you can improve, what you should do. A lot of the time, it was just the same information. Okay, keep going, girl. You got this. You're learning a new skill. Dryness, No, there is no such thing as dryness. Hydration is not a feeling, it's a behavior. And actually, this is also in the ebook. And this is what it says. Hydration is not a feeling, it's a behavior. In fact, it is something that can vary day to day, hour to hour. Just like the water you drink at 10 a.m. doesn't quench your thirst at 2 p.m. The water that was in your hair from Sunday's cleaning session will evaporate in 4 to 7 days. We were told that it will take a while to see results. And I can attest to that. If you did this method, well, at first it was tricky. At first it was very weird to kind of like understand this whole thing and then execute on it, and meeting our hair. Like, that was a whole learning thing in itself. But once you got past it, the first 3 months, up until a year, everything was going well. Like, your hair was just behaving so good. It was so soft. You really felt like it was holding on to the moisture and the hydration and whatever it was. I don't know if it's hydration or not anymore, but something was happening where our hair felt really good. And then things started happening. But let's go back a little bit. In terms of recommendations, the product list was all over the place. But one thing that they had and that they emphasized a lot is the fact that you don't need a lot of products. And they even called it the 5-product rule. Many of the ebooks had a version of this. And remember, I have the 2019 version, there was a 2021 version, I think there's a 2023 version, but I don't have that one. And then the stylist version. I don't know why they have so many different versions. Actually, I do know why. Because they're trying to rewrite history. The facts are here. The facts were printed. The facts were written many years later saying, we never said that. It's kind of problematic, don't you think? But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Slow down, Savannah. Okay, so the 5-product rule: all-purpose cleanser, moisture conditioner, base gel, topper gel, cream or foam, and a twisting styler. It's very interesting. I don't see leave-in conditioner. I don't see deep conditioner. You know, I have bad eyes though. It's hard for me to tell. And now one of their workbooks had the same thing. You need an all-purpose cleanser, a moisture conditioner, base gel, topper gel, cream or foam, or a twisting styler. Now, again, you don't see a leave-in. And you know what they ended up saying? They said, we never told you not to use a leave-in. And so many of you guys will actually say that in the comments too. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, how? How can the message change so much? And how can people be defending that they never said that when in fact they did? And it's on video. Let's watch this.
Now for wash and goes, we want to use gel. And the reason not even just use gel, but we want to start with the gel. So I know in natural hair, there's the lock, there's a whole, we have to use leave-in thing. We don't use leave-in for wash and goes because the main character, the leading person in styling and wash and go is gel. So we start by using gel. This is why we are big fans of using gels that are botanically based because aloe is a humectant, and that humectant draws water into the hair. So if I put this on first on your hair and then add water to it, I'm adding more water back into your hair. Your hair's getting more hydrated. Okay.
Well, this is awkward, but there's more. They emphasize in their documentation that the way you acquire moisture and hydration is to expose your hair to water using high quality products with ingredients that help the hair to retain that water. They acknowledge once again that hydrated and moisturized hair is not a feeling or a look, it's a behavior. Hydrated hair is going to feel like your hair, nothing more, nothing less. Now, do you need a leave-in conditioner? Leave-in conditioner is often not necessary. Many times we are using a water-based styler like a gel base. We want to apply it directly to wet strands. Leave-in isn't moisturizing your hair more. If your actual conditioner did its job, there is no need to add another. And there was this whole talk around how the conditioner is the sealant. You don't need a leave-in to seal your hair. You don't need oils to seal your hair. Just go straight in, pop, pop. Hit it with the gel while it's wet, okay? So essentially everything we learned from YouTube University was wrong. And it was a hard pill to swallow. A lot of us were in our feelings about that one. Now, remember when I said that the recommended list seems to keep changing? Because the 2019 version that I have actually had a lot of recommended products. So this particular list gave you chelating shampoos, clarifying shampoos, all-purpose cleansing shampoos, moisturizing shampoos, and there was quite a bit of moisturizing shampoos in that one, cleansing conditioners, and then you went to conditioners, daily rinse out conditioners, deep conditioners, protein conditioners, leave-in conditioners. There were styling creams, gels, custards, stronghold gels, styling foams. Like, this list was intensive, and that was my first introduction to their curated list. Now, the 2021 version looked like this. It had a few clarifying shampoos, many all-purpose shampoos, just a few moisturizing shampoos, 2 of them, a co-wash, and then you had your conditioners, few deep conditioners, protein deep conditioners, and then it went straight into stylers and topper gels. They did have some curl creams, and what they also ended up doing is kind of putting systems together. So the Kinky curly system, the Trilux system, but the list got a little shorter. And to piggyback off of that, in terms of the products, there was this specific post as well that I couldn't find where they said they could not kind of back up all of these products. They could only recommend products that they use in the salon, products that they use regularly, which included AG Boost, Uncle Funky's, and Inner Sense. Those were the heavy hitters. Now, the style guide that they had for stylists, right? Because the whole thing was partner with your stylist will tell you what to do type thing. So they had this layer of do what we tell you to do, but also listen to your stylist. It had this whole shampoo spectrum diagram as well, where they talk about the most cleansing shampoos and the least cleansing. I don't know if the shampoo spectrum is even a thing. It's only a term that I've heard them use, but I guess it makes sense. And the product recommendation and the main products was Malibu Hard Water Shampoo, which is a very harsh clarifying shampoo. Same thing, it goes down to K18, and then Kinky curly shampoos. They had a few treatments, and then we went down to all-purpose shampoos. AG Balance is on there, Inner Sense is on there. They have a few recommendations in terms of a moisturizing shampoo, which is also by Inner Sense. And we've come to learn that Inner Sense is not as rich as we would like it to be, especially from the shampoo and conditioner category. So the stylist list is very different and very short than, say, the very first curated list that they have. So all that to say, it was just a very confusing information when you're like trying to compare the early stage of their product recommendations, and then fast forward to like 2023, 2024, what they talked about, it was very different. And they said, who told y'all to use AG Balance? Well, you told us to use AG Balance. You told us to do wash and goes. Let's not play around. Like, we're all here. Honestly, they just told us what formulated products that did not have oils and butters in the top 5 ingredients is what we need to use. In fact, the exact language is well-formulated hair cleansing, conditioning, and styling products that don't include any of the no raw ingredients in the top 5 ingredients. We will introduce you to the hows and whys of product choices and usage, and how that applies to the essential elements of your hair in the live sessions. And while BGC was raking in these dollar bills, issues started coming out. Now, you cannot, and honestly, there was just a series of unhinged behaviors that we were all watching. Like, what is going on here?
Start to detangle at the ends and work your way up the shaft. Here's where Laura was trying to sound real brilliant here. Like, she has been doing this for years. You didn't have to do that, Laura. You just could have just said up the strand. You had to go shaft with it. Just strand, girl. Here's the thing. I think that the natural hair community has really good intentions, but there's good intention, and then there's also this idea that people can figure out hair, because they never do. I have yet to see a person come into my salon who was doing stuff on the internet and it was working for them. Everybody's hair is something wrong with it. They got holes, it's dehydrated, which is why I have all these instructions for how people need to show up to my, when they come see me in the salon. That's how you know you're a real G. You're a real G when you show up to the salon just like this and do people's hair and they pay you money. Let me tell you something. The natural hair community loves a season. They love to get in season. Like, there's always some new hair care tips for fall. There's a new hair care tip for spring. We put way too much stock in deep conditioning and not enough stock in just cleansing, conditioning, and styling with well-formulated products. That's it, because people in the natural hair community love to throw out, oh, everybody's hair is different. Girl, I know that. Listen, you're not telling me nothing, sis. How though? How is it different? Y'all love that. Y'all love saying that. Everybody's hair is different. Well, don't use oil. Everybody's hair is different. Y'all get on my nerves with that. I hate that. That's the worst phrase, saying, response to anything that involves natural hair. You know when sealing actually happens? For real, like when the sealing truly happens? When we put conditioner on our hair, I don't even know what y'all are sealing the hair from. You just have some waterproofed ass hair. Your hair is waterproof, friend.
That's a protocol that many of the stylists implemented, where 30 days prior to even seeing them, you would have had to go through the 30-day detox, meaning washing your hair with Age Balance, conditioning with AG Boost, and using stylers such as Uncle Funky or Dudu. 30 days prior to even sitting in their chair. Curl Mix was acceptable, but really wasn't the typical products that you would have used.
And then when you get a conditioner, and that conditioner in the first, I would say 10 ingredients, because I mean a lot of these products have a number of ingredients. There's a bunch of oil, some oil from the motherland all in there, and it's like, how is this conditioning your hair? That's not how conditioner works. I'm not a chemist, but I know some trash when I see it.
So a leave-in conditioner is not really a conditioner. It may have some fatty acid conditioning agents, but a leave-in is really just a light hold styler.
All in water don't mix, and you don't need to moisturize your hair, and just have a simple straight routine, and then you can be out to brunch. So a lot of women just flocked in to see some curls, looking to see some girls.
And get what definition?
And while BGC was raking in these dollar bills, issues started coming out. Now, you cannot talk about the damages that happen if you don't talk about Shelly V and Rosie Amelia. These two women, my God, they basically carried this movement on their bare backs when it comes to what is going on with this method. They blew the whistle on everything. And it started with Rosie unintentionally. It's very interesting. She was doing the method and she was happy with the method. She was like, my hair is doing just fine. It's a very simple way of taking care of my hair. I'm loving my results. I like my wash and goes. But the thing with Rosie is that she did a yearly blowout and like straighten her hair. She wouldn't blow dry her hair grow. What she saw, what her stylist saw, is what started the whole thing. Her stylist was like, I have never seen your hair this way. What have you been doing? And of course, she proudly said she's been following some curls, and the stylist was like, oh no, baby, you gotta stop. And you're probably thinking, what are the damages? What happens when you cleanse, condition, and style your hair and omit rich products, omit leave-in conditioners, omit deep conditioners? Because they said most people just didn't need a deep conditioner. A deep conditioner was a treatment. That's exactly what they said. And what are you treating? Why do you need a deep conditioner for? Like Aisha would be on live, y'all, what seems like 24/7, talking down on people, letting them know that you don't need any of that. You just need to wash your hair, condition it, and style it. And I mean, wash with AG Balance, condition with AG Boost, use Uncle Funky's and Innocence. That's all you have to do. And I know now they're like, we never said that. Like, you did. You did. And the damage that I'm talking about is extreme dryness, split ends like you've never seen it before, girl. I'm talking about tree branch split. I've never seen it before. I even talked to my stylist about it, and she's like, I think I've seen it in a book somewhere, but I've never even seen it in real life. Well, apparently now it's everywhere. It's in everyone's hair. Keyhole split, which is when your hair kind of split like in the middle, like mid-shaft split, so it's connected on one end and it's connected on the other hand, and there's like a big hole in the middle. That I think we've seen before, but at the rate that it was happening and it was popping up was very problematic. Webbing and Velcro ends, so that's basically when your ends are like Velcroed together. It's really weird how it would like snap and like attract each other, and that's exactly what's happening in my hair. We'll talk about my story in my hair in the next video, but those are the issues that we started seeing, as well as in an odd way, your ends will just start lighting up. Like it just looks like a brown, light brown color when you have like black hair. Same thing with me as well. Never seen it happen. And as much as I felt like I wasn't really trimming my ends before, I wasn't taking care of my ends for sure. Like we were just kind of protective styling back to back. Y'all know the routine, right? Using my shea butters, etc., etc. But my hair never changed color. And we've seen it happen with so many different heads of women to the point that we can't ignore these damages. It's nothing to play with. This is serious business. And that, my friends, started the downfall of black girl curls. If you had to ask me when they started going down, because at first all of that was fine. Their documentation was fine. The way they were guiding people was a little odd, the way that they would talk to us, but you know, whatever, we can let that slide. We let it slide. We're like, they're from the south side of Chicago, it's fine. But then when the damages started coming out and how it was handled, this is the beginning of the end. Let's talk about Shelly, okay? Because Shelly is another person that was doing this regimen to the T. And I mean, Shelly got the monies. Shelly was seeing stylists back to back to back because she wanted to make sure that she was doing it right. She was in See Some Curls, and ironically enough, she was one of the major key players in See Some Curls. She was vocal. I felt like she was part of the community, as well as she was taking care of her hair. You all know how it is for us. Hair is not just hair. There's so many layers when it comes to hair for us as black women. So she was part of the community. She really felt like she found something really good, and it was good probably for her mental as well as her hair. So when she saw Rosie's video, she was like, wait a minute, I should look a little deeper into this. Got her hair blue dried. Shelly was shocked. Some of the red flags for me when it came to this whole thing, it was their delivery. I think a lot of us, it was hard for us to get past the way that they delivered their message, even the way that they called their resources. Wash your damn hair. Like, it could have just been like, wash your hair. Why we gotta? Okay, so we let that go. They blamed the fact that they were from the south side of Chicago for how they talk, etc., etc. I guess. I don't know. I've never been to the south side of Chicago. I've only been to Chicago once, and I definitely visited the rich part of Chicago. So I don't know, never been. So that was the main red flag, just their delivery, their tone, and we can't erase history. We can't act like that wasn't there. They were very condescending to anybody who was doing anything from YouTube University, as if YouTube University is the reason why we all have jacked up hair. People have jacked up hair because they don't want to take care of their hair. If you're gonna put your hair in a protective style for like 8 months, that's not YouTube University. That's you. The second thing was the whole incident with Latoya. That had us looking like, we were scratching our heads a little bit. If you don't know, Latoya Ebody is a hair influencer here on YouTube. And I don't even want to call her a hair influencer because she's a businesswoman now. She came out with her own brand, Someday Sunday, and I love her products. Let me show you. I'm in love with her body creams, and she actually sent me a little something, a little goodie. And I'm gonna show you. Oh, look how pretty. This is the Vanilla Embrace body cream, and this one is a new scent that she has for men. So I can't wait to give this one to Bae. But let me tell you, I already know and use this product, and it is so good. I love the smell. I love the texture, the whole thing. The whole thing is amazing. And if you want to support a black business, the one that will not talk to you crazy, well, I will put the links down below. Oh, her products is just so amazing, so luxurious, so soft. Something about it, the way it just melts into your skin. Oh, girl, I want to put this all over me. I may not even give Bae this one. Like, let me smell it. Oh, how does she do that? Let's support black businesses that deserve it, okay? Anyways, Latoya actually started the detox, and Latoya has a lot of hair. So she was experimenting with the products and ended up using a wrong product accidentally. This whole thing is very confusing, okay? Keep in mind, some of the products look very similar. So in any case, she used the wrong product, and Aisha felt like going on live and making fun of her instead of actually helping the woman. And I mean, I guess she doesn't have to help Latoya, but you also don't have to go out of your way to make a whole video to make fun of someone who is trying the method that you suggested. Like, this whole thing started because of y'all. Why do you have to handle it that way? We were all like, I don't know if that's the one. Red flag. The children's guide was a red flag. And I say this because I felt like this method is a little high maintenance. Imagine doing someone's hair. You have to do your hair every like 4 to 10 days. It's not one of those methods that you would want to extend or stretch your wash day. You really needed to do your hair very consistently. And even so, a lot of people ended up with damaged hair. So can you imagine? So when they came out with the children's hair guide, I really just felt like it was a bit of a money grab. I felt like the messaging was very different than what they were telling us. Because I mean, hair is just hair. It's just hair. But why should the children use deep conditioners as well as leave-ins and all the things? And for us adults, our hair was just dry and bare and had nothing on it. Like, why was it so different? I felt like the messaging then really started changing. And to me, I was just like, oh, hold on there. Another red flag is when people started voicing their concerns around the damages, the way that was handled. It really just gave just mean girl energy. We're gonna block you if you say anything. We are going to silence you if you say anything. It was handled so poorly. The biggest red flag for me though was the fact that Aisha, at least, started using oils herself. And that is actually one of the things that got me blocked. This is where the story began.
About leave-in conditioner, I actually have leave-in conditioner and foam on my hair right now. Does that give you any indication how I feel about leave-in conditioner? Leave-in conditioner and foam. That's how I feel about it. That's on my hair. I'm sold. I am a leave-in and foam girl. So I'm wrong. Yeah, I was wrong. You don't always have to have a humectant gel. You just need a bomb-ass leave-in conditioner.
This is what one of her stories said. Are you using oil to unravel your twist? And she was like, yes. No oil and butters doesn't mean eliminating them altogether. It's always been about evaluating them and where we need to use them. What? Who said that? Telling you, this whole story, I can't make this up.
Naturals love to be like, do what works for you. What does that even mean? You know what? After you showed me that one video, you know, where you did your hair with the 12 products, that shit's not fucking working. So what worked? Do you even know? Learning your natural hair does not have to be trial and error.
You know what's funny about this whole clip is that in the same story where she said she was sold, she's a leave-in girl, which is contradicting the messaging that they put forth. Then she goes ahead and still continues the same narrative that natural hair is not trial and error. Isn't that odd? And honestly, they were the queens at contradicting themselves.
Today I'm doing all this stuff to my hair, well, giving myself a deep treatment, but I'm also getting my hair cut while it's stretched because I noticed how crazy the ends were, and you can't catch those always with curly cuts.
Also, I want to dispel the myth that curly cutting specifically is only for shape and not for maintenance. Because again, let's going back to the purpose of cutting hair. It's number one, for maintaining the ends of the hair. Whenever a stylist picks up a pair of shears, and this is for stylists and clients alike, we are maintaining and maintaining every single piece of hair on the head.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, when the damages started coming out, I was like, you know what, I know the internet. I've been online long enough, and people like to change things. They like to change the story, they like to change the narrative, they have to add their own little twist, their little emotional outburst into things. So I was like, you know what, let me reach out straight to them and ask them, have they heard about some of the damages that came out in terms of the webbing, the dryness, the split ends, and this is what they have to say. They basically said people that they've worked with on average have not had a professional haircut in 2 years. They said the condition of the hair that they have seen in the salon is in a rehab state. Implementing the guidelines Black Girls have set forth in educational materials does not negate the fact that some individuals' hair has already been negatively impacted by their previous hair care routine. So they said, no, that has nothing to do with us. People weren't getting haircuts. They weren't taking care of their hair properly, etc., etc. Which I was like, that's not really what I'm talking about. Like, I'm talking about women that have been seeing their stylist, because mind you have to see your stylist every 3 months and get your maintenance cut every couple of months. So that's not really relevant. And then she went and mentioned what a corrective cut phase was about, you know, your hair may not be lying in the same area. Even when she talked about dryness, she said, we're assuming that you're speaking about the hair feeling dry and not appearing dry. But we're happy to discuss both. We have come across a number of individuals not using the appropriate shampoo type during their cleansing sessions. That was in 2023. I feel like they felt like it was happening, but didn't really want to come out and say that it was happening. In our educational material, we discuss in depth what we call the shampoo spectrum, which allowed using the appropriate shampoo category depending on how dirty the hair is. We have experienced individual using a clarifying shampoo, the strongest shampoo category type weekly, which result in over cleansing the hair. Alternatively, we have come across individual using a moisture shampoo, more conditioning, least cleansing shampoo weekly, which result in not being able to adequately remove the product buildup, dirt, oil, and environment debris that has accumulated on their hair. And you know what? I don't know. I don't feel like using a moisturizing shampoo, say shampooing twice with a moisturizing shampoo is not going to clean your hair. I don't buy that. That's just me. I feel like my hair does fine just using moisturizing shampoo, but you know, perhaps we're all different. I don't want to jump to conclusion, but I just feel like the emphasis that they had on using a shampoo that was stronger than a moisturizing shampoo is probably one of the reasons, well, I guess now that we know, is one of the reasons why this whole thing fell apart. From what we have observed, there seemed to be an idea that not using leave-in conditioners is contributing to dryness in the hair. First, let us state that we never said that leave-in conditioner should not be used on the hair. We've always encouraged individuals to assess the behavior of the hair to determine if a leave-in conditioner is necessary for the desired style and finish. And at that time, what they did is strategically post a blog post around using leave-in conditioners, which I don't know if the blog post is still here. I don't see the post. Is it gone? That'd be interesting if that one's deleted too. They have this one here, like a stylist corner. When and why use a leave-in conditioner in your hair? Leave-in conditioner is a lightweight conditioning style prepping product with many functions. They basically said that a leave-in conditioner was a no-hold styler. See, that's what I mean. Things are changing. Now it's a prepping product with many functions. Leave-ins are to help smooth the hair cuticle, make the hair more pliable, and provide some level of softness. Leave-in conditioners are meant to be used daily and should not be used in place of rinse-out conditioners. Like, who used leave-in conditioners in place of a rinse-out conditioner? Like, where they got that idea from? And they actually recommended leave-ins for children, which is why I was like, the messaging is changing. By the time they published this post, which was when everyone started talking about some of the damage and changing they were seeing in their hair, I felt like it was like a strategic move when the blog post was published. I just feel like the timing was a little sus, okay? And the fact that they were leaving leave-in conditioners for children, and even says here, leave-in also work to provide a barrier layer for added moisture, given the frequency at which you typically cleanse, condition, and style your child's hair. So it's like, why is it okay for them to use it, but not adults? When they started using leave-ins and oils themselves, I was just like, I can't do this. Like, we're all just looking at this like, what in the hell is going on? Like, we remember, we were here. You talked to us crazy. You made it seem like YouTube University was just not the way to go if you wanted hydrated, defined, moisturized hair that you could do quickly, simple routine. Like, it was just sold to us in a way that hit so many different parts of our insecurities, you could say, when it comes to our hair and our pain points as natural. Long wash days was solve that. Having dryness is solve that. A long routine with a whole bunch of different products is solve that. Like, it was just everything we needed. And I guess if it's too good to be true. And the conversation that happened around some of the stylists, and I do want to have a second video around just the stylist piece, it was crazy. Like, some of the stylists were crazy.
I understand there's a lot of concerns about split ends, and I think something that myself and my other colleagues are trying to get across to a lot of people, a couple of things. One, split ends aren't quite what a lot of people think they are. They're a lot less common than people believe or realize, and I feel that there's a lot of emotion put towards the concern of split ends, particularly from product brand companies, especially when they come out with things that they're like, oh, this is going to mend split ends, or even that split ends can continue to split up the strand and continue to create damage. And I want to get a little bit into that. Yes, curly cuts absolutely address split ends. Absolutely.
If split ends aren't that common, why is it so common in this method? Everyone had split ends. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, well, have you guys tried to talk to them about some of the damages? Well, once people started speaking up, what they started doing is blocking everyone, including myself. And I'll tell you exactly why I was blocked. This post that came up, Aisha basically said, can we please stop arguing about natural hair? Do what works for you. And we're like, this is what we said from the very beginning. YouTube University was strong with that messaging. Do what works for you. They were like, no, natural hair is not trial and error. No, it's not about doing what works for you. It's about a proven system, a roadmap, if you will.
About the shift that's happening in natural hair right now, and been observing it actually for the last year plus. And the 2 clients that came in today actually are living exactly what I'm saying. So what do I mean that natural hair is shifting? People are doing what they want to do when they feel like doing it. No more abiding by these arbitrary rules, which we've been trying to get away from. No more being afraid of heat. No more being afraid of hair color. People are literally doing what they want to do for themselves, as we've always encouraged here in Black Girl Curls. We've always been about people doing what they wanted to do. Now, granted, there was a period where we were hardcore wash and go girls individually. That didn't mean that everybody in the space had to do wash and goes. People just decided and were inspired to do the wash and goes on their own. Now, people are just doing whatever floats their boat.
So someone left a comment and said, you should have said that 2 years ago before people's hair got jacked up. I never fell for the no oil and butters. I mean, Madam CJ Walker was the GOAT, and she used grease. We've been trying to keep our curls from being dry forever. Side eye to you, sis. And sliding some grease in doesn't hurt. And I liked that comment. And you know why I liked it? Because she said, you should have said that 2 years ago. And that is very true, because they just started changing the messaging as if 2021 to 2023 just didn't happen. So both of us got blocked. That's how it happened. Of course, I took a screenshot because I knew she was going to delete that comment, which is why I took a screenshot of it. And I have proof now that, yeah, the comment is gone. If you go under that post, gone. And I mean, I can't go under the post no more because I'm blocked. But you know what I'm trying to say. Most people that came up with their damages were just blocked. Shelly got blocked. Rosie got blocked. African Hair Guy is actually a key player in this whole story, and we'll talk about him in the stylist portion. He's blocked. Everyone's blocked.
Now, one thing I truly appreciated about African Hair God is that he refused to let them get away with their contradictions. And as a stylist himself, that goes against the stylist code, apparently, where stylists aren't supposed to critique another stylist's work. And that mentality is probably why there are no standards when it comes to stylists, and why a lot of stylists are able to get away with mediocre work in 2025.
This whole thing about, curly cuts and mid-shaft slits, it was my idea. I came up with this idea because I wanted people to really just get their hair life in order. I just wanted to be able to teach people how simple hair was, and I thought if we talk negatively about curly cuts and people's hair condition and not use a leave-in conditioner, that people would then go look for themselves to see let me see what that girl's hair looks like, and then they would come over and see that my hair was fine, and then they will be curious enough to get what they needed from Black Girl Curls, or they would be curious enough to sign up for our email list, or join Season Curls, or buy Wash Your Damn Hair, or buy the Black Girl Curl Styling and Product course, so they can find out for themselves, did this indeed cause all this type of damage, and will it do it to me? So it was my genius plan. I even came up with this genius idea to send pictures of, and talk about my most recent service that I added for, it was all for marketing. This is all in a grand plan to market Black Girl Curls, because we just want people to have great hair. It was for that reason. It was only for the reason. And I came with the idea. I orchestrated this whole thing. I organized the whole thing. I made it go on for over 18 months because I just wanted people to have healthy hair. I just wanted them to have healthy hair. So it was really my plan. It was all in my plans. Yeah, it was me. I came up with the idea for all of this. And I also wanted to make the split between It Kinky and Black Girl Curls really easy. So I just thought it was just a great way to, market, because people love drama. So we just wanted to make some drama. I just wanted there to be drama around it.
sometimes hair gets a little boring. You just gotta make some drama where there isn't any. And so this was a way to make drama where it wasn't any drama, you know? Anyway, like, people are still thriving and flourishing and living their best lives. You know, the other stuff that people did, that was at their own devices, but, you know, my idea was to create controversy around, you know, curly cuts and leave-in conditioner and deep conditioner, just to get people, you know, get all eyes on black girl curls. It was just all in the plan, you know, to bring more eyes to black girl curls. So I think it's time that we fess up and just that this was all orchestrated. It's all fake. It was all fake. It's just fake. It's fake news. Like I said, it was just done to bring more eyes to black girl curls.
And if you're wondering what new service, well, it's a blowout for $400 from the same person who damaged your hair. And while we at it, we might as well peep the $725 service. And yes, these wash and goes were costing $400. Now you see why people are upset.
I'm in a different era in my journey.
Imagine following a method for years and struggling, trying to figure it out as your hair is getting more and more split, your hair is getting drier and drier, and perhaps you believe that there's something in the method just to find out that it was all orchestrated in the name of drama, just to create controversy and confusion so that you can make more sales. Can you imagine? And I also thought it was very interesting to bring up their break, because Black Girl Curls and It Kinky ended up breaking up, and they're two different companies, at least they were. And why bring that up? Now, it's very interesting. I just want to read what someone had to say about this method. She said, I tried the method for a year straight, and I have strands that look exactly like the one shown of Shelly, which I had never seen before in my life. I had never noticed so many splits before. My hair didn't start improving until I gradually started adding products back in. To the point where I was doing this method, my husband used to comment about how stressed I used to be doing this method around wash day. And then I stopped. And he started to say, I see you feeling a lot better about your hair now. And this is a man who don't know nothing about no hair. They guilted people into following their methods to a T. They promoted themselves as the correct method for natural hair. If they had said this is just our method for maintaining this style, I wouldn't be mad. But they propped themselves up as D and all for healthy hair. Like we've been doing it wrong all this time. So they got people like me listening up. They touted themselves as D expert. And it's those of us with the tightest girls who are ones. The comment got cut off. It was a lot, but I get what you're trying to say. Especially women with tight curls, we really suffered. And the thing with having tight curls with this whole method is the fact that we were left behind. Most of these stylists couldn't even do the wash and goes. And at least on tight curls, right? Like it was just looser curls. They really wanted to showcase some of the looser curls as well. And this is where I give Elaine. Elaine is a stylist, which we'll talk about her in the stylist video, which is where I give her some grace because she specialized in tight curls. And I mean 4C hair. And that was a blessing in itself because Black Girl Curls, at the essence and the core of it all, didn't even believe in 4C hair. 4C hair doesn't exist. They basically went back and forth online for 2 years. Elise, which is the stylist we talked about at the beginning, and Aisha ended up breaking up at some point, dividing the businesses. So Aisha took over on the consumer side and Elise went to the professional side and teaching stylists. And one of the things that did a big uproar in this whole thing is the fact that stylists that we thought were It Kinky certified, as it turns out, were not. Their stylist directory needed to be taken down because the stylists that were on there apparently just took a course or didn't really know what they were doing. So instead of acknowledging the fact that something was flawed at the core, they started blaming the stylist that took the course. Well, so-and-so just took a little course. They really don't know what they're doing. It's not our fault that your hair is jacked up. It's the stylist. It's not our fault your hair is jacked up. Maybe you had COVID 3 years ago.
I'm in a different era in my journey.
But I was in season curls, and many of us were encouraged to use AG balance on a weekly, bi-weekly basis. Not anymore, but in the past. What year were you there? That wasn't encouraged. I was using it. But that didn't mean you had to use it. There were other options on the list. I think some people thought because I was using it, they should use it too. I don't shy away from that. I've definitely been very transparent. I don't have anything to hide. The stress that we experience in our body is stress that ends up in our hair strands. A lot of people's styles changes in 30 days. What they didn't do after the 30 days was to tweak. their routine after the 30 days to adjust it for what how the hair was behaving at that time. I'm also using more emollients too, because nobody said you had to wear a wash and go either. Everybody was wearing a wash and go. That was a choice, but nobody had to wear a wash and go. Is that a lot of people were using shampoos that were not for them. Nobody likes my answer. Nobody ever likes that answer. What happens when you start doing stuff to your diet? It impacts your hair. One of them competed in the last 18 months. Competing fucks your hair up. That hair is gone. What are we doing now? What are we doing with the hair we have right now?
And if you are still here in this video, I hope you can realize how confusing this whole method ended up being. And partly, I wonder if that was just all marketing.
This was all orchestrated. It's all fake. It was all fake.
Because at the end of the day, misinformation and confusion sells. And, you know, I don't know if you guys are part of the marketing world, but that's basically how it works. Like, you want to confuse your prospect to the point that they're like, oh, I don't know what you're doing. Like, well, come to me. Let me show you the ways. And I think part of it, that's how it happened. They marketed it towards us, and they kept going in a way that got them more people to sign up. Because a lot of these videos on social media would go viral. People will argue in the comments, like, what do you mean you can't moisturize natural hair? And they'd be like, well, let us show you the way. Way to darkness. Way to split ends, apparently. Now, I know you're wondering, where are they now? We will get to that in the next video. But personally, I am deeply disappointed in this whole ordeal. This could have definitely advanced the natural hair community in a positive way. It could advance the movement that we have when it comes to natural hair in a positive way. But I feel like they swung the pendulum far to the right. I guess that's my left. Selling the notion that hair can be easy, that you don't need a ton of products. And I think they just put so much emphasis on having a bomb-ass style, or whatever they deem as a bomb-ass style, using the products that they recommended, and you couldn't go outside of that. It really felt so rigid that now the pendulum is gonna swing far to the right, leaving in its track all of these damages. And part of me, I almost feel like heartbroken about the whole thing, because I love wearing my natural hair. I love seeing other women embrace and wear the natural hair. But now I just see the tides changing. People are just going back to being straight natural. People are going back to relaxers. They're like, forget this natural hair because it's too complicated. And imagine spending so much money into their resources, their classes, their courses, and blah, 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 for you to just end up confused. Like, where do I go from here? What do I do right now? How do I take care of my hair moving forward? And I also don't want people to like swim back and run to what we used to do, which is like slathering our hair with a bunch of oils and products, because products have changed. And there are some products that you can use, like lighter oils that you can use, or oils that aren't even oily themselves. Like, I don't know why I have this here, but interesting that I have it right there, because I'm going through postpartum shedding right now. And this is a hair serum, like a hair growth serum that I've been using. And I'm going to show you the texture. At first I thought it was going to be an oil, but look at this. It is actually more of a serum. It's not oily at all. And that's what I've been using on my edges. You know, girl, while I'm here, let me just go ahead and use a little boop, boop. Oh, I put it everywhere. It's going down my face. Let me just use a little something, something. And I've been using this to help with my shedding. But this is a whole different texture. It's not oily at all. I have something else that I use for my edges, and same thing. It's what you would imagine the oil to be, and that one is actually with rosemary, but it's not oily. So there's so many different products that we can use that definitely can help support our natural hair better without having to run to like castor oil, for example, or something really thick. Because I think buildup was an issue, and they did have some valid points in terms of washing your hair and washing it consistently. Especially if you are wearing your natural hair, you want to be in a routine where you are consistently doing your hair. That's how it's going to flourish. But how they went about it, as rigid as the whole method was, and how you couldn't do certain things and you couldn't use certain products, I really felt like I was trapped, for lack of a better word, in terms of this whole thing at some point. And I think a lot of women are experiencing some freedom being able to use different products. And I think that's just what you need to do. Using different products, making sure that you use a leave-in. And leave-in doesn't have to be a whole thick butter that you're going to use on your hair. It can literally be a spray. Like they have spray leave-ins. And I think working and playing with consistencies is probably going to be something that help us moving forward. But girl, I said a lot. This video is going to be super long probably. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Was this the biggest scam in natural hair history? Before you make a decision, wait for part 2. And if it's up, it's going to be linked over here. Okay, bye.